All right, people. So I want to do a little video here on the young turds or Turks, the young Turks. That's right, the young Turks. So the young Turks, they're a so-called progressive, whatever, they call themselves a progressive news organization. Who is obsessed with Bernie Sanders and socialism. So okay, I get that. They love Bernie Sanders. I get the appeal a little bit to Bernie Sanders. I mean, I get why a lot of people who are misguided, who don't exactly know what socialism is or capitalism. I get why a lot of people were flocking to Bernie Sanders, who was essentially you could argue the Democratic version of Donald Trump. So a lot of people become obsessed with him, including the Young Turks. They get on the bandwagon, whatever you want to call it, and he loses. And, he gets, more precisely, he gets fucked out of the nomination. And then they pretty much go to the Young Turds. They go to pretty much supporting Hillary. Now, you could argue they're not, really endorsing her, or they're not 100% on her bandwagon. But, I look at the news coverage of the Young Turks. I look at their... See, I'm subscribed to the Young Turks on YouTube, not because I like them, but because I like to see the point of view of people I disagree with. I like to watch their videos from time to time so I can point out their idiocracy. And I see them probably like tenfold covering anti-Trump stories as opposed to anti-Hillary. They're covering stories that are against Trump way more than they're covering stories against Clinton, even though Clinton has so much more scandal, so much more dirt on her, that it's ridiculous that they're doing this, that they're so much demonizing Trump. See, I don't like this. They're not giving Trump credit for one fucking thing. See, they've created this hashtag where they go hashtag loser Donald, which I see nobody else using. They're like, oh, hashtag loser Donald, loser Donald does this, loser Donald, and they title it their videos, and it's not catching on at all. I see nobody using it. And they don't give Trump credit for one goddamn thing. Even though he's done, see, he's like Bernie Sanders in the sense that he doesn't take big money. But you don't see the Young Turks praising Trump for not taking big, money from big corporations. Oh, who's the one taking money from big corporations? Anybody? Does anybody have the, oh, me, I've got the answer. Hillary. Who's the candidate who's against wars like Bernie, who's not a neocon? Anybody? Yes. Trump is the one who's not a neocon. Oh, who's the neocon? Hillary. Yeah, that's right. So there are many instances. Let's do one more. Who agrees with Bernie Sanders on trade? Anybody? Oh, I've got it. Yes. Trump. Yes, Trump is against NAFTA. Trump is against these horrible trade deals. So he agrees with Bernie Sanders on many instances, but yet the Young Turds don't give Trump credit. See, I gave Bernie credit. For his views on trade, for him not taking big bucks. I think he was sincere in his message. He comes off as you could argue a genuine guy. He's a genuine guy, I think. Now, I think he fucking sold out there. I was very disappointed with him, where he sold out and endorsed Hillary. Now, that was some bullshit right there. Either he was fucking, I don't know what the fuck happened with him, but I was very disappointed with Bernie selling. I mean, if he was a guy to stay true to his values, he would have endorsed Jill Stein. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So you see the Young Turks just attacking Donald Trump, and they're basically supporting Hillary. They want Hillary to win. No, they don't say they love Hillary, but they want her to win, which I don't understand. Again, you got Donald Trump, a guy who doesn't take big money. He's not taking big... That was like one of the main points of why Bernie supporters liked Bernie. He was an outsider. He was... not taking, because, I think most Bernie supporters were pretty fucking dumb, to be quite honest. Of course, there's a good amount of them who were educated and actually knew the issues, but I think a big part of them were just supporting him because he was a so-called outsider, was a so-called, guy not taking big money. And I think a lot of people, on both sides of the issue are uneducated. Unfortunately, we have a large portion of the American public who is focused more on Kim Kardashian's ass and shit like that, as opposed to, you know, who our leaders are and what the fuck they're doing. So I think a large amount of Bernie supporters were like that, and now they see that they are easily swayed by the garbage in the mainstream media, and they hear Trump's a racist, Trump's a sexist, Trump's this, Trump's that, and they fall into line. See, so I don't get why the young turds don't give Trump credit for not taking big money. They don't give Trump credit for not being a neocon, or, you know, being for free trade and not being for these phony trade deals like NAFTA and the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP. So I'm just disappointed at that. They're not a fair news site in the sense they don't give Trump credit for anything. All they do is bash him. And I'm gonna turn on my car here because it's getting fucking hot in here, so it might be a little bit loud. But the point is, you know, Trump is you know, he's not perfect, but he's more like Bernie Sanders than Hillary Clinton is, I believe. And I'm trying to look at this from a progressive, a liberal's point of view. And if I was a liberal who believed in shit, I would 100% support Donald. If I had to pick between the two, I would support Donald Trump. Now, if you factor in third parties, that could be a different issue. But I'm looking at it. Who's the one who takes big money? Oh, Hillary. Who's the one with a million scandals, like the email scandal, like Benghazi, like the Clinton Foundation, Pay for Play? Oh yeah, that's Hillary. What are Trump's biggest scandals? Well, they don't involve killing people. They don't involve taking money from foreign companies to do favors that are against America's interest. No, they're like bullshit mostly. They're Trump's been sued 3,500 times or some shit. Well, of course, he's got a big fucking company. See, most of these, you know, big companies get sued. That's just what happens. A lot of people are looking for fucking free money, and they sue a big company like the Trump Organization. That's what happens. You know, look at McDonald's got sued for having hot coffee. I mean, that shit happens all the time. You just don't hear about it. You know, every fucking lawsuit. Even small businesses get sued. I mean, lawsuits happen all the time. You know, Trump bragged his building was the tallest after 9/11. He didn't really brag. He just was stating a fact. I think it was out of place, but does that disqualify him from being president? No. Trump doesn't have the temperament to be president. What do you mean doesn't have the temperament? What the fuck does that even mean, doesn't have the temperament? Why? Because he calls people stupid? He swears? Who the fuck doesn't? Who the fuck doesn't call people stupid? I've called people way worse than stupid, and so has everybody else. I mean, that's the real world. Okay, now maybe people do it in private, but does it really matter that Trump is he doesn't act like I think that's one of his biggest appeals. He doesn't act like a politician. He doesn't have a filter, and that's I think a big reason why he's so could be our next president. So does it really matter? Look at what Colin Powell said. He said that Bill Clinton is dicking bimbos still. You see how people actually talk, they just don't talk like that in public. I'm sure Hillary has said way worse than Trump in private. So I'm just so sick of all these phony attacks against Trump. Most of them don't stand substance. I get that there's a few legitimate things I have, that I'm worried about with Trump. I get that. I have a few concerns about him. But, I mean, for the most part, Trump's so-called scandals don't hold a candle to Hillary's. I mean, Hillary's are 1,000 times worse than Trump's. But yet the young turds, all they talk about is how horrible Trump is. And their videos are getting, almost, and a lot of times, almost more dislikes than likes, which is horrible. And people are realizing how phony they are and how fucking retarded they are. And people are turning away from them. So I'm glad to see that. So, fuck the young turds. I used to be somewhat, okay, I respect their opinion. I respect that they're independent. But now they're not really being a fair news site because all they do is fucking bash Trump. Pretty much give Hillary they bash Hillary a little bit, but not enough. So there you go, people. There's my thoughts on that.